rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
One of the best parts about being in the travel industry is that you can change how you move and get completely different results. So this April, inside Ash Knows Travel, I am going live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, breaking down the travel agent industry.
And we all got dreams. Let's go. We all want things. But what you
Make sure you subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss it. I'll see you there at Ash Knows Travel.
Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Ash and welcome to my YouTube channel, Ash Knows Travel, where I share trainings, walkthroughs, and insider tips to help travel advisors book smarter and build confidence. And tonight's training is all about the red flags, especially those that will waste your time. We're going to go over the signs to watch for, the patterns to recognize early, and just basically how to protect your time and energy while still showing up professionally. And we're not just going over clients, we're also going to be going over agents as well. So if you are actively team building and you're kind of figuring out how to know when an agent's going to kind of do good, what things to pay attention to, even for clients, I've got it all tonight, okay? So we are doing all of this because we need to know that not every inquiry is the right client, and knowing the difference can honestly change how you run your business, yes? So if you are live here, make sure you go ahead and drop a hello in the chat so that I know that you are with me. And if you happen to watch this on a replay, I still want to know that you stopped by. So go ahead and comment replay for me so that I know that you were here. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? I really like this training because it's kind of like the smaller version of my Lookers and Bookers. And if you are with me on Lookers and Bookers, I will actually be covering them on the 14th, which is going to be next Tuesday. I'm going to do part 2 of Lookers and Bookers. So since I'm doing a part 2 at that point, I figured I would do like a modified Lookers and Bookers tonight, which is going to be red flags. Okay. Now I do have the first part of Lookers and Bookers on my YouTube channel. And maybe one of my mentors will drop it in the chat for you guys. But that is basically what this is leading into. So you're going to want to make sure you watch tonight, okay? And then come back on Thursday, because on Thursday, I'm going to take these red flags. I'm going to talk about how to talk to them, how to handle that, and how to close, yeah? Then following on that Tuesday, going to the Thursday of next week, I'm going to go a little bit deeper on how to keep leads warm. And I'm talking about the ones that you quoted for, and now you're okay, what do I do with these emails, etc. I'm going to keep you guys informed with that. And then we've got more trainings coming throughout the month. So make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and tap that bell so you guys get notifications when I go live. Yeah? All right, so let's go ahead and dive into red flags that will waste your time. So the first thing that I want to cover on is why this matters. And I want to talk about why it matters is because I don't want you guys to just think that this is just another training that you're attending, okay? I really, really want you guys to pay attention to the leads and different new agents that are coming into you, because you have to really sit down and measure where you put your time and energy in order to be successful while you were here. It is not possible if you pour too much energy into the wrong thing, right? Like we have probably all been there at least once in our travel career where we'd be like, wow, I wasted a lot of time on that. Like, you know, like if I just would have asked a few more questions, I wouldn't have done that, right? So tonight we are going to cover that, how basically time is your biggest asset. The wrong clients, they're going to lead you to burnout. And also in these red flags, I'm covering fraud because fraud is real in this industry. So I'm going to bring in fraud to this and kind of give you guys tips and pointers that will make you automatically go, okay, yeah, this is probably fraud, right? We're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to cover agents, where we're going to talk about the wrong agents that will slow your growth. In that, okay, our goal is that by the time you guys leave here, next time you run into another lead or run into bringing on a new agent, you guys are going to learn that working with the right people is going to actually help you grow faster. And you're going to feel like, okay, this is a red flag. I know how to handle it. That's what I want you guys to learn from this. Okay. So first one that we're going to talk about is going to be clients. Yes. There's a lot of red flags that can come from clients, and a lot of the times they come before you even get to the booking part. So the first red flag that we always have from a client that could potentially waste our time and energy is going to be no clear intent. A lot of the times when we get to the qualification forms, if they fill them out for us, sometimes they just come straight into our DMs, right? But we need to honestly check the red flags when it comes to qualifying them and what the requests are. If there are no dates, no budget, and they kind of tell you that they're looking for prices, then this is automatically a red flag for me. Now, that does not mean, okay, that they won't book with you. That does not mean that they're actually looking to book, okay? That doesn't mean a lot of things. What this red flag for me is, I really need to sit down and qualify them a little bit more before I do anything further with that. Now, on part 2 of this, which is going to be Lookers and Bookers, part 2 on next Tuesday, I'm going to actually go step by step on how you have to talk to people like this, okay? I'm going to tell you how to close people like this, so you definitely want to check that out. But a lot of the time, a client will come to us and they come with a very open, vague pathway. Yes, a red flag for me is if they had no dates in mind, especially if they're like, we can go whenever. No, you can't. No. It's very, very rare, unless you get one of those very rich, even the rich people, they can't even, like, I'm talking like rich people. A lot of them have lives. That's how they got to being rich, right? So a lot of us just can't pop off and take off whenever we want, right? So a lot of the times that's a red flag to me. I really am looking for some kind of like rough month idea, at least. Like I need at least a month idea of when you're going to go, right? Another one is no budget. A no budget is a very, very big red flag because everyone has a budget. Even if it's a large budget, a small budget, it doesn't matter. Everybody at some point has an idea of what they want to spend on that trip, right? So that's really what I like to think of it as, especially if they give me like pushback from a budget. I go, honestly, when I think of a vacation, kind of think of it as an investment because that is going to be time and money and basically memories that you're going to be spending there, right? Now, obviously, you don't want to word it like that, but I want them to see it as how much money am I willing to put towards having a good time, because that's going to really kind of break down what I can do with it. So I kind of lead them into like, think of it like, how much would you be able to really honestly spend on this to have the experience that you want? Like, that's kind of how I push it, because then they're more open to the budget idea instead of just putting themselves in a box. I think a lot of them get afraid to put themselves in a box and they don't want you to look just for those prices. So that's why they kind of skip that. But it's a red flag. If they definitely skip it, we need to talk about a budget, right? Because if not, then you're just quoting whatever you find, and you could have quoted stuff that they didn't even want, right? And then another one is just looking. If they are just looking, that doesn't mean that they'll never book with you. That just means right now they're not going to book. So I need to not spend as much time on it, right? Unclear and uncommitted clients will quickly drain your time and probably your sanity too, because you're going to be like, wait, I just spent all those hours doing that, right? Make sure you ask a bunch of questions before you start quoting. Don't just get an email and start quoting, because honestly, it could end up being something like you quoted something and you spent time and that's not even what they were looking for, right? So do not do that. Next red flag, price only clients. Look at the way they write to you, okay? Look at how they express what they're looking for. If they ask you what is the cheapest option, that's a red flag. Constant comparisons. If they go, well, I found this on Expedia, or I found this on here, but this is what they got directly, whatever that is, honestly, that's a red flag for me, because it tells me that they do not value my service, okay? anytime that somebody comes to me with a price comparison, I did this training a long time ago. I probably will do this training again in the very future, but I break down basically what is our value, because a lot of the times when we're price quoting, we always try to get the best deal, and like we get nervous because our clients might find another deal. But guys, you are the value, not the deal. You are taking time out of your day to find a trip for them. They don't have to do anything other than drop the deposit or pay, right? And everything's done for them. That is a value of service. So yeah, so what? You might cost $20 more. Do you see how much time I just took to build that for you? Like, you guys have to kind of get out of that mindset, because if you get into that mindset, you will only get price only clients. If you get into that, I need to find the cheapest option, I need the best deal always. If you don't value yourself, then you will never get valuable clients. Just being honest with you. I did this in the beginning a lot when I first started. I did not value myself or understand my worth as a travel agent. So anytime I was like selling deals, I was always trying to find the cheapest price, the cheapest this, cheapest that. And I was just like, that's not what I'm going for, right? Always make sure that you look into the value of who you are as an agent and what you provide. Okay. So back to red flags. If price only is their focus, then they're not your ideal client. Okay. I'm all for finding a good budget. I'm all for finding a good deal. But at the end of the day, our job is to plan their travel and give them the best experience. And you can't find experience when you're too busy worried about what the price is, right? Now, that doesn't mean go and quote like thousands of dollars more, but you need to kind of put into it as, yes, this might be a lot of pricing, but is it actually going to be worth my time? And what do I mean by that? So the red flag in this is that a price only client is going to make you search things over and over and over. They're going to stress you out because they're going to be constantly comparing, and they're going to kind of put you in a mindset to make you feel like you're not as valuable as a agent because they're finding things on their own. Okay. In that, when that happens, it puts us into a mindset that kind of makes us seem like a failure, but we're not. It's not that you're failing. It's just that you have the wrong clientele. That's what it really comes down to. Okay. So don't put yourself in that box, and don't let them put you in the box either. Okay. Next red flag, poor communication. Now, honestly, this could be a red flag on both sides. A lot of us lack communication skills when it comes to especially following up, etc. So check and see if it's you before you say it's just the client. But a good red flag for me is the way they communicate. If they are slow to respond, then I know they're not interested. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're not going to book with me, but what I'm giving to them obviously isn't eye-catching enough. Now, that also could be kind of not also true at all times. Let me explain. Sometimes people just get busy, and that kind of waiting window gives us mad anxiety as travel agents, yeah? But if they are constantly slow to respond, then that's the red flag. If you send them a quote and they don't give you the answer to that quote within 24 hours, that doesn't mean that they're slow to respond. That means they probably got busy, or it just wasn't eye-catching enough and we need to follow up with them, right? So make sure you pay attention to that red flag and how the slow to respond actually works. Now, another one is that they expect urgency, especially if they're slow to respond and then they expect urgency. That's a red flag for me, because it's like, you were slow, so why do I have to be rushed, right? So I don't like that. And then if they're very unclear what they want, like if you get somebody that's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna fly out of BWI and we're just gonna go next week, and it's like on a Thursday, if they just like are not giving you the full, like, then that means they don't know either. Okay. So poor communication is really, really kind of like the set tone for me of how this booking is going to go. How we talk in the beginning, how things are planned, how easy it is to book it. Like, that is going to be the highest point for me when it comes to what is this booking going to do for me, right? That communication is where I base it off of. So how they communicate early is how they will act throughout the booking. So always keep that in mind, okay? And sometimes those clients not always are for us, but a booking is a booking, so I get it. You book it, but just know, you now know what's going to happen throughout this booking, right? Like, it just sets the tone for us. But I want to take this a little bit deeper, because I feel like This also can be a red flag for fraud. Now, the reason I skip forward is because I know I talk about fraud in the next slide, but it's not covering what I want to cover here. Poor communication can also be a fraud risk for me. I feel like if they don't provide all of the details, then I automatically, if I don't know them, if I can't verify them, if they call me or just send me an email, like those communications also are a very, very big flag for me. If it looks weird, if it's very detailed, like nobody's going to come to you and say, I want to leave out of the origin of air, blah, 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 on the flight 3654, blah, blah, blah. Like nobody knows that, right? So to me, certain way they talk, the way they message is also a red flag, but also keep in mind that fraud is very, very like big in our industry because it's easy to just book flights, whatever, right? So it's important that we also keep a red flag for fraud in this aspect as well. Okay. Pay attention to how they talk to you. Pay attention how they respond. Like all of that needs to be kept in mind. Okay. Another one that kind of is a fraud tactic and also a very big red flag for me, a rushed booking. It is very, very rare that you immediately talk to somebody, get the details, and then it's just booking right away. They normally have to, ask questions. They want to kind of learn about it. They want to do their own research. Like that's a natural thing for people who are booking things because they are investing their money, right? They need to have the ability to see all of what they're doing. And I get that. I understand that, right? But when a rushed booking happens, it is automatically not like a red flag. It's a red flag, but it's more like a, let me pay attention to this, okay? If they come to me and they need to book immediately, that is one of the biggest fraud tactics. Yeah. Especially when they're like, we can leave whenever. We could just hop on a plane right now. No, you can't. No, that's a red flag for me. Normally, people don't leave on emergency status unless it's truly an emergency. So I would be concerned on what that booking was, right? Now, along with that, needs to book immediately. It could be because of a deal, so not always a red flag, but just look at the way they're pressuring you. Like if it's more of a, I don't need the details, this is fine, let's just book it, then it's a red flag for me. If there's that high pressure, if that's just like the urgency, like it needs to be done right now, then it's a red flag, okay? Pay attention to this because, like I said, it is one of the biggest fraud tactics that we have here. The lack of details, like messaging randomly you on WhatsApp and they want this specific flight. Like there's a lot of things that people will go to and like overextend themselves to create fraud. And, just in general, a rush booking for me is going to equal probably a rush trip too. So for a client aspect, I would really make sure that what's the point of this booking to kind of make myself get rid of that red flag in my head, right? So pay attention to that when you guys are booking. Pay attention to all of these because they are big red flags for bookings, yeah? Next one, payment red flags. A payment red flag is not as common. I feel like that doesn't happen to me as much. Normally they're more weird about how they're going to pay than what we're going to pay, right? But if you have somebody that comes to you and they want you to pay and they'll send you the money, never do that, ever. We do not ever, ever, ever pay for the client. I don't care if it's your best friend, twice removed uncle. I don't care. Do not do that, okay? You put yourself at risk. Not only do you put yourself at risk, but they've passed a lot of laws for travel in the last year or so. And a lot of the times, if you were to pay for that, you're responsible for the refund. And if they want the refund and you don't have it, they're like, there's just a lot of like red gray area, right? That we don't want to touch. So multiple cards is a red flag for me. If they are together as a group, I get that. I'm totally cool with that. Vax can take up to 10 cards at one time. So whatever, right? Like that's okay with me. But if they're sitting here and they just seem like real sketchy and they're like, oh, we'll just pay here and pay this and pay that, then I'm concerned, okay? When we do payments, we have to get a credit card authorization form. Yes, everybody's getting their credit card auth forms, right? It is very, very important that we get these credit card auth forms because they protect us from things that are like this. If a person came to me and it was fraud, and I said, well, you can use multiple cards, but you're going to have to do a credit card auth form every single card. if you're a fraud, you would feel less likely to do so, right? Like that is the protection part of it. That's when it becomes paper. That's when it becomes signed. Like it's a whole different story. So that credit card auth form is put in place for us, not just for the clients, but actually for us too. Okay. So multiple cards, red flag for me. Now, if it's like a $7,000 booking and they got to split it up between 2 cards, okay, fine. But if they're like real weird about it, then that's something I pay attention to. Third party payments. This is kind of hard because sometimes we use Klarna, etc. That's okay. But if they're like trying to wire you money, or they're trying to like just be like using their form of whatever that is, like red flag. And then unusual payment request, also a red flag for me. If I feel like I don't know, it's just if I feel like the way they want to pay is wrong, if they're messaging me on WhatsApp and it's weird, like then these are automatic red flags, right? If the payment fails off, it usually is. So just pay attention to how they're talking to you, how they want to pay, what they want to do when they get the price broken up, etc. Okay. Now, lastly, if it's too easy, okay? If it's too easy, like they just are like, yeah, let's book it. Let's go. They didn't even read it. They just instantly accepted it. No questions asked. It's one of those thousands of dollar bookings with no hesitation. Then, yeah, it feels like it's like a red flag. It's a red flag for me. I start asking questions like, wait, how do you feel about this? Why, like, are you okay with this price? Is that okay with you? Like, normal clients ask questions. If they're doing fraud, they will skip this process. They will not ask you anything. If they just like you send something over, they're like, yeah, that's great, let's book it. That's a red flag for me. Like, I would honestly start asking them, did you look at this? Did you see this? Like, like I would kind of run it through to qualify the booking, because if it's not fraud and they're just that easy in acceptance, it can fall back on you later on when they go, oh, I don't remember reading that. Well, that's because you didn't read any of it, right? So I would qualify them even after that, just to make sure they understood everything before I booked it. But a lot of the times, a red flag would be that it's just too easy. That's a fraud one. That's definitely a fraud one. People should ask questions. They should be, trying to find out more details, because you're thinking about like spending high dollar booking, especially you're investing thousands of dollars into something. You're going to ask questions about it, right? So that is definitely a red flag for me as well. Next one we're going to do is agents. Yes, not just clients. We got to talk about agents. Now, before I go into this, okay, I want to say that does not mean that we don't take on agents, okay? Like, the reason I'm saying the red flags for the agents is because as a trainer, I see a lot of your new agents. If you're team building and you're watching this, I see your new agents. They come here, right? And I can tell when a new agent is being mentored. I can tell when they're not being mentored. I can tell when an agent's being lazy and we're giving them everything they need, but they're not implementing it. I can tell when they're confused. I can tell when they need a path. I can tell a lot of different things, right? Like I've been training long enough to where I can tell immediately what a new agent is doing when they come to me. Yes. So I kind of want to share that insight with you guys, because a lot of the problems that we have here is not necessarily building. We can build, right? But one of the biggest problems that we have is always going to be retention. So a lot of the retention is because of these red flags that I'm going to give you, and you guys just don't fix it. You're just like, okay, we'll get back to it. And then eventually, what do? They cancel. So red flags from here is not this means let's get rid of an agent. That's not what that means, right? Red flag here means, I need to pay attention to this agent, and I kind of need to follow up with them and make sure they're on the right path, because this is a red flag for me, okay? So these are just some things that I've come across while building my team. That doesn't mean anything, like they're bad agents or anything. I just want you to understand that from this point, you need to fix it if they start kind of showing this behavior. Yes? All right. So not all red flags come from clients, especially in our business. They also need to recognize the red flags when building your team. One of the first red flags for me, especially when they first sign up, is they want fast money. Yes. How fast can I make money? I can't tell you how many times somebody's texted me that. I've been building for about 4 years. I've probably got it at least 10 times. How fast can I make money? Okay. This is a red flag for me, because that tells me that they're going to skip steps. Yeah. You're going to skip steps and you're just going to jump right in there. And then you're going to come to me 2 weeks later and you're going to tell me it's not working. But that's because you don't have the other parts. You're not patient for learning and you skip the training. Yes. So this is an automatic red flag for me. When somebody sends me this message, I immediately take a step back and I say, hey, wait a minute. This is not instant income. Okay. Can we get instant income? Yes, we can. Absolutely. Without a doubt. I can show you how to do it right now. Right. But this is a business. This is something that takes time to build into. And it's not going to be something that you're going to get instant gratification from. So what do I do when this happens? I set proper expectations. I immediately stop. Say, hold on. We have to have a conversation here because this is not the proper expectations. We're not going to be hustling me. You're not going to hustle me and be like, how can I get fast money? I don't know. How can you? Like, what are you doing to get the fast money? Are you doing anything? Are you trading? Did you complete your certification? Like, we have to kind of step in because this is a mentor red flag right here. I don't want to set that expectation that you can just come in here and make fast money. I don't care if you heard it on a presentation. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. We're going to build something real. We're going to build something meaningful, right? But we can't do that if we're just worried about the money only part of that, okay? There's so much more to being in travel, right? So red flag number 1, wants fast money. Number 2, no action, okay? A lot of the times, especially being in my setting, you all will come to me and you'll go, I attended your training. I attended your training. I attended your training. And then the second part you'll follow up with, well, I haven't got any bookings or I haven't done this yet. Okay. You can consume content all day long. You can watch all of Ash Knows Travel trainings. Okay. But if you do not take what anybody's showing you, and not even just me, we have tons of corporate trainings. We have tons of this. If you are not actually implementing it, you will feel like a failure. Yeah. Especially for agents, especially when they first start out. If they're training, and then you come to them and you go, hey, what have you done so far? Oh, I'm about to start on my Linktree. Oh, I'm about to start on my certificate. Okay, so why haven't you? Like, what is the problem? What is stopping you? Okay, that no action is a red flag, even though the flag's gold. It is a red flag for me. I have a problem when agents do not do the action, especially if you come to me and you're like, I watched your training, but I haven't gotten a booking yet. Okay, but what are you doing to get a booking? Okay, as a mentor, the automatic red flag. I will stop you in your tracks and say, stop watching trainings. Okay, that training isn't going to get you paid. But if you take what you learned from that training, and actually implement it, then you would get what you want. Okay. Information without action leads nowhere. And that would be the first first agent that will come to you and be like, I'm not getting a booking. Okay, but what are you actually doing to get a booking, right? From client agent standpoint, this is all I really have because honestly, agents, they're going to do this or they're not going to do this, right? These two things really just kind of stick out to me because I'm like, oh, wait, okay, let me stop. We need to set this up correctly, right? So now that I've covered a bunch of red flags, let's talk about some time protectors that we can do to make sure that we don't run into these situations. Yes? So first of all, always qualify everything. Qualify agents, qualify clients, qualify payments, qualify everything that you do, okay? And I really think that I qualify now every person I meet too. That is something that has really changed my game when it comes to doing travel in person. I qualify every person I meet. What do you do for a living? Whoa, you like to travel? Where do you like to travel? Like I automatically, and then when they come to me later on, I'm like, oh yeah, you like to go here. I remember that. Okay. Like I qualify every person, especially even my new agents. As soon as I get a new agent, okay, where are you from? What do you do for a living? What is your current struggle? What are you trying to do when you're here? What is your goal? Okay. That tells me what they're going to do while they're here, right then and there. I can tell you how successful an agent can be, honestly, right within the first 20 minutes of meeting them, right? I can tell by the way they move. I can tell by the way they're motivated. Like I qualify them too. And that helps me kind of figure out how much time I need to put into them. But as agents, we have to step up and actually do our part for this to work, right? They're just there to guide us and that's it. So qualify everything because clarity up front saves you time later. Yes. Next one, set boundaries. Set boundaries with your clients and set boundaries with your agents. You have to properly communicate with them, Set up proper times to communicate with them, and always set proper expectations before you even begin any part of that process, okay? Boundaries protect your business and your energy. And especially when it comes to clients, I always set boundaries of what I can and can't do. Okay. If it's something beyond my means, then I'm just going to let them know. Like, I can't do that. I don't want to set in a situation where I'm trying to do something that I know I can't do. Right. Same thing with agents. There's certain times where I'm off and there's certain times when I'm not. And my agents know if they need me, write me. When I get to it, I get to it. Now, normally I respond within, a few hours, but at the same time, my agents understand that I've got 6 kids and I'm trying to run a business and I'm trying to do this and that, right? Everybody respects that boundary. And that is established over time. That wasn't given overnight. A lot of the times I used to sit, agents would text me at like 10 o'clock at night. I need help on this. And I'd be like, right? Like, I had to go in and set proper boundaries before I lost my sanity. Yes. Another one, trust your instincts. I feel like this has saved my business so many times. Not even just my business, my time and my energy, because I trust my instincts. If it feels off, it probably is. Yes. If it doesn't feel like this is something that you should do, then it's probably not, right? Your intuition is probably one of the strongest tools you have here. So before you go and do a deep, massive dive on trying to find a trip to Europe, qualify that client. Like, if you feel that, like, I need to ask them this question before I continue, ask them. Don't go into a deep dive, because you might regret it. You might be like, oh my God, why did I waste all that time, right? Don't put yourself in that bubble. So lastly, yes, your time is valuable. That is the biggest red flag for me, is anything that's going to inhibit my time beyond the means of what I need. Yes, I will stop. I will stop what I'm doing and go, especially because I'm a Capricorn. That's one of the biggest things with Capricorns. If we feel like our time is being wasted, we stop in our tracks, right? So it's very easy for me to teach on this topic, but your time is complete value to you. You need to protect it. You need to respect it and have other people respect it. And that's going to help you build smarter. Yeah. The faster you filter, the faster you grow. The more you stop pushing that energy and that time to things that don't need it, the more time you will have to focus on what you actually need to do, and then you'll get it done. Okay. So I hope this has helped you guys. Now, I know this is just the starting part of it, but you guys have to make sure you watch my training next week on Tuesday called Identifying, well, actually, it's just Lookers and Bookers Part 2. We're going to talk about objections. We're going to talk about how to control the situation and how to close the deals for the clients that are like looking and not actually booking. Yeah. So make sure you guys, of course, find me there on Tuesday. It's going to be Lookers and Bookers Part 2 at 5 p.m. PST. Now, of course, okay, I want to get your feedback on this. So make sure you guys also like this video. Yes. Comment if it has helped you. And, of course, make sure you share it with your team, okay? I'm going to head over to my chat, of course. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can find me there. But that is all I really have for you guys for tonight. I hope this just kind of like opens your mind, okay? I know right now you're like, all right, this is great. But next time you have that conversation, just stop. Stop and say, wait a minute, is this a red flag? Is this something that I need to pay attention to? Because it is going to help you. And you're going to be like, oh yeah, Ash said this was a red flag. Okay. That's what I want you to do. So make sure you guys, of course, like this video, subscribe, all of that. And I will head over to my chat box now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them there and I will answer them. And if not, I will see you back on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific for Lookers and Bookers Part 2.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yeah. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.